Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. I am one of your hosts, Memo, and right beside me, how are you doing?
I've been doing pretty all right, I guess. For the most part, it's been obviously we just had it was a shortened week this week, so that was good. Because like obviously Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday, and then so forth. And obviously the as far as the season goes, right now the groups group play is almost done, but still a few games left this week. So it's about to get to the exciting part, aka the knockout stages, which we will talk about momentarily. But overall, I've been doing pretty okay, I'd say. How you doing?
Yeah, I've been good. With this week having a major holiday, Thanksgiving, I was able to get the entire week off, so that's always very nice. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Um, did you have a nice dinner?
Um, yeah, we had a pretty good dinner. Nothing too special aside from that, but yeah, it was cool. But yeah, it was a good time as a family. We had some good food, and then obviously extra family time is always good. Aside from that, just tried to take it easy and enjoy some rest and time off from work. So yeah, I would say it was pretty chill for the most part. And what about you?
Same. Yeah, had family over, ate a pretty good meal. What was your favorite thing that you ate this Thanksgiving?
Honestly, I would say sweet potatoes probably is
Mm.
sweet mashed potatoes is the best part for me because we didn't have the regular mashed potatoes, which usually would be one of my favorites. They were just missing that this year. So I would say sweet potato is my favorite, and then stuffing is a close second.
Yeah.
Um, Personal favorites for you?
I love cream of corn. I think that's really good. Mashed potatoes is definitely up there. Like what I've been doing. If you remember what we had in high school, the mashed potato bowls. Uh, I've
Oh,
been
you do that? Make
I
that
I
yourself?
I've been making my own mashed potato bowls with the leftover mashed potatoes. I'll just put some chicken nuggets in the microwave. Uh, throw some cheese on there, and then it tastes bomb. It's good. It brings me back. So mashed potatoes is definitely
Nice.
up there for me. Um, and yeah, I guess that's it. But speaking of Thanksgiving, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do the usual stuff that we're known for. We're gonna cover the schedules, the not the schedules, the seedings, the NBA Cup standings, and the WNL list. But before the WNL list, we're actually gonna name off a few things that we are actually thankful for uh, during this NBA season. So we'll do that really soon. But let's go over the NBA standings. Who did the West Coast last week? Do you remember? Was it you?
I'm I'm pretty sure I did West last week, so
Like,
you can take the lead there this time.
all right, cool. So the West Coast, the best coast. We're gonna start with number 15. It's the Pelicans with a 4-16 record. Number 14, Jazz with a 4-15 record. 13, Trailblazers 8-12 record. Kings 12 with a 9-11 record. Timberwolves 11 with a 9-10 record. Spurs at number 10 with a 10-9 record. Clippers at number 9 with a 12-9 record. Lakers at number 8 with an 11-8 record. Suns at number 7 with an 11-8 record. Nuggets at number 6 with a 10-7 record. Mavs at number 5 with a 12-8 record. Warriors at number 4 with a 12-7 record. The Grizzlies at number 3 with a 13-7 record. Rockets at 2 with a 14-6 record. and Thunder at number 1 with a 15-4 record. It's crazy how much a lot has changed throughout the weeks. Most obviously because it's still early, but it's crazy. Like a lot has changed.
Yeah, I mean, from the third seed, pretty much from 4 seed to 11 seed, there's only a 3-game difference. So it's going to be a lot of changes throughout until we get deep into the season. But yeah, now going on to the Eastern Conference. At the very bottom of the conference, we have the Washington Wizards with a league worst 2-16 record. At number 14, we got the Sixers at a 4-14 record. At number 13, we got the Raptors at 5-15. At number 12, we got the Hornets at 6-14. At number 11, we got the Bulls at 8-13. At number 10, we got the Pistons at 9-13. At number 9, we got the Nets at 9-11. At number 8, we got the Pacers at 9-11. At number 7, we got the Hawks at 10-11. At number 6, we got the much improved Milwaukee Bucks at 10-9. At number 5, we got the Heat at 9-8. At number 4, we got the Knicks at 11-8. At number 3, we got the Magic at 14-7. At number 2, we got the Celtics at 16-3. And still sitting at the top, we got the Cavs at 17-3. So those are the Eastern Conference standings.
Now let's move on to the NBA Cup standings, which is getting interesting because there's a few teams that have clinched their ticket to Vegas. I'm pretty sure.
Not yet.
A few,
not yet. Remember the first round?
A few
The
have.
first round... No. What I meant to say is the first round, the games are not actually in Vegas, remember?
Oh.
And then the second round is when the game goes to Vegas. So not Vegas yet, but soon.
Okay, soon.
But yeah, nonetheless, the point that Memo is trying to make is that some teams have clinched into the knockout stages.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, starting with the West Coast, the best coast. At Group A, I'll start with number 1, the Rockets, who have clinched their way to the knockout stage with a 3-0 record. Trailblazers, number 2, with a 2-1 record. Timberwolves with a 2-2 record. Clippers with a 1-2 record. Kings 0-3 record. The next group, Group B, the most competitive group, probably. At number 1 is the Spurs with a 2-1 record. Thunder at number 2 with a 2-1 record. Suns at number 3 with a 2-1 record. The Lakers with a 2-2 record at number 4, and the Jazz with a 0-3 record at number 5. So, no team here has clinched yet. But in Group C, there has been a clinch. The Warriors have clinched with a 3-0 record at number 1. The Mavs are number 2 with a 2-1 record. Nuggets are number 3 with a 1-2 record. The Grizzlies are number 4 with a 1-2 record. And the Pelicans are dead last at number 5 with a 1-3 record.
So now moving on to the Eastern Conference, starting with East Group A. At the very top, we got the Magic with a 3-0 record. At number 2, we got the Knicks also at a 3-0 record, which these two teams will be playing each other the last game, so very important game there to see who clinches. Number 3, we got the Sixers at 1-2. Number 4, we got the Nets at 1-3. And at the very bottom, number 5, we got the Hornets at 0-3. So now for East Group B. At the very top, we got the Bucks at 3-0. At second, we got the Pistons also at 3-0. At 3, we got the Heat at 2-2. At 4, we got the Raptors at 0-3. And at 5, we also got the Pacers at 0-3. And on to East Group C. So clinching already, we got the Hawks at 3-1. Second, we got the Celtics also at 3-1. Third, we got the Bulls at 2-2. Fourth, we got the Cavs at 1-2. And at the very bottom, the Wizards at 0-3. So those are the NBA Cup standings for the Eastern Conference group stages.
All right, there we go. Now we can move on to the next segment where we will be talking about three things each that we are thankful for revolving around the NBA world. And Hoops, would you like to tell us your first one? We'll alternate each one. So you'll tell one, I'll tell one, and then so on.
Yeah, so I'll start with first thing I was thankful for in the NBA is Adam Silver. He is a great commissioner, probably the greatest in the four major sports. And it's simply due to the fact that he always finds creative ways to make the league better and come up with creative ideas. Obviously, when he came up with the NBA Cup, a lot of people thought that he was crazy for implementing such a thing. And then the viewership just went really good. So that was a success. Also, years back during COVID in 2020, when the season was on lockdown, there were a lot of doubts whether or not that season would continue or if it just end without a champ. And then came Adam Silver, who was so smart and wise thinking outside the box to come up with the NBA bubble in Orlando. And it was such a huge success. Obviously, zero positive COVID tests. Um, the performance level was through the roofs. It was some of the most entertaining basketball we had seen, arguably in history. And it was just great viewership. So Adam Silver deserved a lot of praise for that. And then I think another thing is like he's pretty good with his handling of um, controversies too. Like for example, shortly after he became commissioner in 2014, replacing David Stern, in came the Donald Sterling incident, and he handled it so well because like you think that the decision was easy, but you still need to execute it right. And that he did by like making it clear that Donald Sterling was banned for life because his actions were not at all tolerable. And that was clearly the right move. And yeah, overall, just thankful for Adam Silver for everything good that he's done for the league in his first 10 seasons as commissioner. Over 10 seasons now, actually. But yeah, good stuff.
All right, shout out to Adam Silver. My first one is very specific to this year, and I am going with the Cavs. I am thankful for the Cavs this year because with how terrible the East has been, you would think that the Celtics will have another Mickey Mouse run to the finals, which might be the case. We don't know. And the reason why we don't know is because the Cavs are looking like a conference finals bound team. They are looking great. They are looking a lot better than last year. And it's exciting to see that at least there's another team out there in the horrible East that are gonna put up a fight against the Celtics. Which, as a Lakers fan, that's all I want. I want a team to put up a fight against the Celtics. Maybe even take them down because it's fuck Celtics all day, every day. Let's go Cavs. I'm rooting for you guys. Please do something about the Celtics. But yeah, that's what I'm thankful for.
For sure. As you mentioned, very specific to this season. Hopefully, they keep up the good run. Obviously, this week hasn't been as good. We'll talk about them later. But yeah, hopefully they get it back together soon. All right. So now that brings me to the second thing I'm thankful for, and that is simply the superstars. And that starts with the old proven veterans like LeBron, KD, and Steph still doing their things at their age, um, despite being towards the later 30s and LeBron almost 40. All of these guys are still competing at great levels, and you can't even tell what their age is if you didn't know, honestly, if you're just seeing how they played. Aside from them, obviously, the dominant bigs and foreign players, really in general. Giannis, Jokic, Luka, so forth, Embiid. Yeah, just like dominating and making the league fun. And then obviously a lot of very good guards at the moment too. I already mentioned Luka, Ant, Shea, Tyrese Halliburton, even though he's having a down year, still really good. Tyrese Maxey also. The list really goes on and on. Yeah, honestly, just thankful for the star power and entertainment that all these superstars do to keep us entertained. And this is why we love the sport, because these guys make it fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And kind of to piggyback on what you said, for my next thing, I am going with longevity because we are seeing a rise of players that are playing at an older age at a very amazing rate. Whether we talk about former All Stars playing as great role players like Chris Paul or Al Horford, or maybe superstars that are still playing like superstars like Kevin Durant, and the most obvious answer, LeBron James, the oldest player in the league. He's literally on the same team as his son right now, and he's still playing as one of the best players in the world. I think that is really cool to see. It's not something that we have seen like often. This is not a normal thing. Like what LeBron is doing is not normal. What Kevin Durant is doing as well. Like he's been amazing. He has not like lost a step even through all his injuries, even though that he's also getting older. He's still looking great. He used to play for the Sonics. He used to play for the Sonics, and he's still out here balling like he was a Sonic. So, the longevity is crazy from several players in the league, and it's cool to see. Um, so, yeah, that is what I went with for my second thing that I was thankful for.
For sure. Definitely shout out to those guys for their longevity and continuing to perform at high levels for as long as we know. So my final thing that I'm thankful for in the league is really the young up and coming players and a lot of great potential for the very bright future in this league. And so obviously starting out, we know the very fun big man matchup we're gonna have for many years to come is gonna be Wemby versus Chet. Um, One was technically drafted the year before. Obviously, Chet, because he got injured in the offseason, he never played. So last year became his rook his true rookie season in terms of playing. So they're in a way practically on the same page then. And then of course we got other guys like Paulo Banchero, J Dub, Brandon Miller, Jaime Jaquez, you name it. A lot of young guys there. And another thing is a lot of young guys that used to not really do a whole lot, and now they're having some crazy good breakout blooming seasons, like Dyson Daniels for the Hawks, Scottie Pippen Jr. for the Grizzlies, and even Ty Jerome doing a pretty good key role for the Cavs in their hot start to the season. So really, I'm just thankful for all the nice young up and coming talents that are gonna make this league great for a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely very exciting to see all the young talent, uh, like like Wemby, like Chet, Paulo Banchero, Scotty Barnes. Like these guys are definitely fun to watch. I definitely agree there. Last thing I am thankful for is being able to watch history in the making because basketball has changed over the years. I think if you told me 10 years ago that in 10 years there is going to be this chubby Serbian guy who is the best playmaker in the world as a center and is a 3-time, possibly 4-time MVP, I would have thought you were crazy. You were insane. This guy, the guy that was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial is gonna be the greatest player in the league for like 5 years in a row. That's insane. But no, he is breaking barriers. He is uh, doing things that we haven't seen a center do. Speaking of seeing centers do things that isn't normal, Victor Wembanyama playing like James Harden with those step back threes. He had like a 50-point game the other day. He is one of the greatest shot blockers already in his second season. He might have a GOAT uh, case in a few years. This is the stuff that we've seen in the NBA in our lives. We haven't seen a player play like Jokic, play like Wemby, and I could go further with other things that haven't been seen before, like the amount of scoring from these players. There's been several 70-point games throughout the last like 3 years. That is insane. Um, Seeing LeBron currently beating out Father Time is cool. Adam Silver implementing the NBA Cup. The league might expand pretty soon. The WNBA is popping off now. This isn't stuff that was happening like 10 years ago, and we're watching it all develop, and all it's all in front of our eyes, and I think we should cherish these moments because this is history that we're watching, and I think it's really cool to see. This is stuff I'll be telling my grandkids about. This Wemby guy, he used to be the greatest Spur of all time. He was an insane rookie or whatever, and my future children will tell me to shut up because there's like this other like 7'8" player that plays a lot better in the future. I don't know, but yeah, I'm just thankful to see the league change for the better. A lot of people are, always thinking about the past, always thinking about there's like too much 3-point shooting. There's no defense. So back in my day, we get to elbow people in the face, stuff like that. But I like seeing the league develop. I like the evolution, and I think it's a really cool thing to see. So that's what I'm thankful for.
For sure. And yeah, I think it's safe to say the league has evolved a lot pretty much every decade. But this past decade, for sure, definitely a lot. And obviously, one of the key things is like how the league's game flow has evolved from like the down low big men dominating paint points to now like a lot of 3-point heavy shooting. I remember I saw a video. It was where this one guy was pretty much asking, since recently Jokic has been dominating, winning so many MVPs, and he won a championship, and obviously like there's a good chance he could keep on winning some, maybe. And they're asking, if that's the case, would there be a chance that other teams are going to want to start modeling the Nuggets or like blueprint where they try to go back to the big men dominating as opposed to shooting threes heavy? I don't know. It's possible. I mean, like obviously the Timberwolves also had the twin tower duo and then so forth. So I think it's safe to say their teams are going to try different things. But as far as like how will it exactly evolve remains a mystery, because as we all said, a lot of things that happen today we cannot have really predicted 10 years ago. So there might be something really crazy again that will happen in the next 10 years, 2034. So definitely interesting to see what's to come there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But there's that. That's what we are thankful for. So we'll move on to the W and L list now, which I'm not gonna lie, we don't have like a crazy amount of things to talk about in either, but we got a few things. Starting with the Magic, who have had a 5-game win streak. They are 3 Oh, in the NBA Cup, they are possibly gonna clinch. We'll find out after they face the Knicks, right?
Yeah,
So they're doing this again without Paulo Banchero, which is crazy to me. So, how impressive has this run been for the Magic?
very impressive because not only are they doing all this without Paulo Banchero, um, they're looking really good, like as if you wouldn't even be able to tell, and probably be even better than a lot of people thought they would have been with him. So, yeah, they've been very impressive. Active 5 game winning streak, moved all the way to the third seed in the Eastern Conference, and a chance to win their group in the NBA Cup play. It's definitely very promising in Orlando for sure. So, yeah, we'll see how if they'll be able to keep this up and maintain throughout the season. But so far, so good for the Magic.
Definitely. So we'll see if this continues. Next, we got the Hawks, who have been having a very weird season. We Nobody thinks of the Hawks as like a good team, to be frank, but they did just beat the Cavs twice, uh, in home uh, sorry, and home, right? Did I say that correctly?
Um, I think they won one on the road, so it's called a home and home, meaning they play one here and they play one there.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Not gonna lie, so that kind of confused
I'm
me. But
surprised they haven't.
yeah, I'm surprised I've never heard it either. But essentially, they beat the Cavs twice. the The Cavs have lost 3 times. Once against the Celtics, and the other 2 times it's against the Hawks of all teams. I believe the Hawks are like the only team to beat the Celtics, the the Cavs, and lose to the Wizards and the Pistons, which is insane. Like they should be doing the opposite, uh, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as mentioned, this is like one of the most weird, unpredictable teams in the league. They literally gave. Granted, the Pistons are better now, but like at the time, that was looking like a really bad loss still. And then they gave the Wizards literally their only 2 wins of the season. So, and it's funny because like they lost 2 games in a row to the Wizards, just like they won 2 in a row against the Cavs. It doesn't make sense, but they somehow did it. And like the Hawks are actually having a pretty bad week before beating the Cavs. Like last week, they got destroyed by the Bulls in their NBA Cup game, and then after that, they lost against some other pretty mediocre team, if I recall. I forgot who it was, but point blank is they ended the week really well. 2 wins versus the Cavs, and then a win against the Hornets. You think, whatever, but still a win's a win. So yeah, overall, very weird season for the Hawks, but they were able to clinch their group in the Eastern Conference. A bit of a shock, and we'll see what happens with them. The inconsistency, I'm sure, has been driving their fans crazy, if anything, confusing all the NBA world. But we'll see. Hopefully, they can be more consistent and bring more challenge to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they have been very confused. Like, I still don't know what direction they're trying to go for. Like, are they actually trying to win? Are they probably should have started tanking after training DeJounte Murray? But then you still have talented people like Daniels, like Trey Young, and it's confusing what they're trying to do over there. Just the Hawks in general, very confusing team, very confusing. Um,
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I think that would be a good segue to move on to the next team on the W list. That would be the Bucks, who obviously, as we know, they started the year really bad, and now don't look now, they're starting to gel and really play really good. They're on a 6-game winning streak, now moving up to the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference with a 10-9 record, clawing all the way back to above 500. And on top of that, they are 3-0 in NBA Cup play. And funny enough, their potential game clinching cup game happens to be against the Pistons out of all teams, who are also 3-0 in their group play. So also another weird team is the Pistons.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about the Pistons is like they haven't necessarily been playing like super great lately in general, but they have been playing good in the cup games. Though they have been without Cade Cunningham for a good amount of games, so that also plays factor. So that's a bit of a shocking team too. But nonetheless, this is about the Bucks. They're starting to gel, and it looks like they could be a dangerous team. Honestly, the team that looked like an absolute disaster the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, everyone thought it was the world was ending, and that team needs to blow it up and make several trades. I'm sure they heard all that, took the motivation, and they're like, yeah, we're going to start being serious now. And that they are. So, yeah, I think this team is definitely heading in the right direction, and hopefully they can maintain it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they're starting to rack up these wins, especially after a horrible start. It's still early in the season, so racking up these wins now is vital. And yeah, it seems like Lillard and Giannis are gelling a bit more. The team is looking great. I think today Giannis had like a 40-point triple double or 40 plus triple double, something like that. And yeah, Middleton is now playing 5v5 during the practices, so that's a good sign. He might be back in the roster playing once again. So things are looking good for the Bucks. At first, this team looked like maybe we should write them off. They're old. Giannis and Dame can't play together. They didn't play during the summer, so we should just write them all off. But it's a long season, so sometimes you do gotta trust the process. I don't know if they're back to like finals contending mode, but I think they could build up to it throughout the season, and hopefully that will be the case.
Definitely. And we've definitely seen a lot of crazy in-season turnarounds before from teams that started really bad and they end up going pretty far into playoffs or maybe even to the finals. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely wish the Bucks the best. We both like the Bucks as a team, and then of course giving the Celtics more competition is always good. So definitely hope they can keep trending in the right direction and keep building, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I hope for. Next up, though, we got the Grizzlies with a 5-game winning streak. They are fourth in the West with a 13-7 record. They are kind of surpassing expectations. We know they had a very injury riddled season last year, so it's kind of hard to predict how well they were going to do this year. But they're starting to inch up in the rankings, starting to look like their old selves, especially now that John Moran is back as well, having these crazy highlights. Like, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago where he caught this lob and he was like in the air, just paused in the air, levitating before he dunked it. It's really cool to see him play. So I'm low-key starting to regret saying that Trae Young is a better player than John Morant. Like I had like I was I put my foot down there. I was very adamant about that. But it's clear that John Morant leads his team to victories. He's so important for that team. So I should have listened to you during the summer. You were batting for John Morant. I should have been on your side.
Yeah.
I should have been on Ja's side.
You thought I was crazy. I know. But Yeah, the Grizzlies have been for sure, if anything, um, overachieving so far. We all expected them to be good and back in the playoff picture. We didn't know how good exactly. And so far, so good. I mean, fourth in the West. And we'll see if they can maintain it consistently throughout the year. But if you think about it, it's almost like they're back to where they left off before they had all the injuries the previous season when they finished, where they actually happened to finish second in the Western Conference. Were they able to finish second in the Western Conference again this year? I don't know about that, but I think there is a good chance if they keep playing this well, they could be at least in the top 5. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But as you mentioned, John Morant has been very fun to watch. Of course, not that we didn't know already, but his presence is a huge difference for this Grizzlies team. We all saw it last year. The team was really bad without him. In the 6 games he played, they were like 5-1, only lost 1 game. So yeah, Grizzlies are looking very good right now.
Very good. The West in general is looking so competitive. It's very interesting to compare the West with the East and how different they are. But okay, next I'm gonna combine these two. It's gonna be the last thing we talk about in the W list. But there was 2 very, it was pretty surprising performances this week that I wanted to shout out. First, Elfrid Payton. I know last week we were stunned that Payton is back in the league playing for the injury-riddled Pelicans, but he's been coming through a little bit. Coming through, at least in this game, where he scored 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 21 assists in a loss, which sucks for them. I believe this was against the Pacers. I think Tyrese Halliburton had like his best game too in that win for him. But yeah, 21 assists is the most in Payton's career. It's the most by any player this season. This is such a random stat from a random player. 21 assists for Elfrid Payton in 2024 is crazy to look at. And almost as crazy is OG Anunoby, who's known for his defense, but he had a 40-point game against the Nuggets in a win, so that's always nice. He was 16 of 23. He made 5 of his threes. So I'm going to ask you this. What is more surprising? OG scoring 40 points or Elfrid Payton getting 21 assists?
Definitely Elfrid Payton. And simply due to the fact that that man wasn't even on an NBA roster since 2022. The Suns team that was really good in the regular season and infamously choked badly. Yeah, the fact that Elfrid Payton has been spending the last 2 years in the G League gets called up simply due to the fact that the team is so banged up with injuries and making the most out of it. So shout out to him for that. But it's definitely not to say that it's been a shocker because, it really is. I mean, he's been playing impressively well and maybe making something teams think, why didn't we take a good look at this guy these last few years? How is he not even in the league and barely in the G League? Well, hopefully that's able to keep him on a real NBA roster now. Potentially maybe the Pelicans the rest of this year, or if the Pelicans decide to cut him for a roster spot after they get healthy, maybe another team will pick him up now. But nonetheless, both of these were very uncharacteristic, but I definitely think that Elfrid Payton is crazier simply due to the fact that, even though OG Anunoby obviously isn't no superstar, we have seen his scoring bursts that he is capable in the past. So I would say overall, Elfrid Payton was the more shocking, and it was a more shocking performance, I would say.
Yeah, I guess it was too easy of a question. It's very shocking. I think the more shocking part about the OG thing is that, a little off topic, but seeing that OG is more of a scorer than Mikal Bridges is at right now. Bridges is kind of struggling. It's really OG that's been more of the scoring wing there. When you would think it would be Bridges, with his all-star potential. So seeing how well OG has been and how he stepped up to the plate, was able to score 40 points, and seeing how kind of disappointing Bridges has been as of late. I think this week he had like a very stupid turnover where he literally passed the ball, like he inbounded the ball to a Hornets player, and they were able to score and beat the buzzer before, I think, halftime. So this hasn't been his best season, Bridges, but at least OG is picking up the slack a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, hopefully Mikal Bridges can get it together for the Knicks. OG, so far, looking so good. So, yeah, hopefully they gel better, and the Knicks also keep trending upwards. Because they definitely have been having a very inconsistent start to the season.
Very true. All right, let's now jump into the L list. And starting with the Warriors. At one point, they were the number 1 seed in the league, but now they have had a 4-game losing streak. They lost to the Clippers, the Nets of all teams. I think Schroeder had a really good game against the Nets, the Thunder, and the Suns. So I still think the Warriors are a really good team, but this is not great. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, so the Warriors have definitely not been looking as good lately. They had a rough week, 4 straight losses. And I think a lot of people expected them to fall off a little bit, but maybe not this fast. And granted, they could easily bounce back from this, but not a good week for them. Personally, as a Lakers fan, I hope they complete a downfall because I don't like the Warriors and their annoying bandwagon fans. But yeah, the Warriors had a tough week. I'm sure they'll be fine, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's really the Nets loss that's like the one that isn't understandable, but the rest it makes sense. Those other teams are very competitive. Nets are sneaky good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Nets have had some sneaky good wins against teams they shouldn't have beaten, which is funny. But yeah, that is the game. If anything, they should have won.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that would be good for us to move to the next team on our L list, being the Pelicans. They are currently the worst team in the Western Conference on an active 7-game losing streak. Now is a record of 4-16. Now, obviously, we know they've been so short-handed. So short-handed to the point that, as mentioned earlier, they had to sign Elfrid Payton, a guy who has not been in the league for 2 years. And he's been doing good. It's been fun to see, but Pelicans, realistically, they're not going to start winning until they get their guys back. So rough start for them there, but we'll see once they eventually hopefully get healthy.
Yeah, it's always, kind of tough talking about the Pelicans because, this is expected at this point for them because they've had such an injury-riddled season that I feel like putting them in the L list is redundant at this point. Like, we gotta put them in here because, a 7-game losing streak is kind of a big deal. Losing your whole, team is kind of a big deal. Even though I think CJ McCollum is back. I think he had a pretty good bounce-back game, actually. Even though they lost.
He's back?
I'm pretty sure.
I actually didn't know he was back.
I heard he was back. I think he scored 20-something in his game back. You could...
Oh, damn. Actually, CJ and DeJounte returned.
DeJounte returned?
I didn't... Yeah.
Well, you could tell since they've been losing, yeah. And, no...
But it was against a good team, though, the Grizzlies. But, yeah, I guess they are technically getting healthier. Still have Zion missing, but maybe they'll get better.
Yeah, the DeJounte one's surprising. I actually didn't know he
Yeah.
came back. Did he have a good game? Do you know at all or no?
I think he had a pretty good game. Let me check real quick. So it was the NBA Cup game against the Grizzlies on Friday. DeJounte put up pretty good, honestly, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Um, okay, my bad. That was CJ's stats. Okay, CJ put up 30 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. DeJounte put up 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So still really good.
Yeah, not bad.
Um, yeah, but CJ was the main guy. And then another guy that was injured for good amount of the season that had a good game that game was Trey Murphy with 21 points and 9 rebounds, just for FYI, in the Pelicans' loss. But as they get healthier, I'm sure they'll start winning some more games now. Not sure how much better they'll be, but I guess we shall wait and see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they have a talented group of players. They're just half of them are injured now, but at least there's a few players that are getting healthy, so that's good. Next team who doesn't have a good excuse for having a pretty bad losing streak is the Wizards. Worst record in the league by far, with a 2-16 record. They currently have a 14-game losing streak. And yeah, they have not won once in November, so it's a no-win November for them. I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew that this team was going to suck, but did you expect this team to be this bad?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought they would be this bad. I mean, they were already really bad last year. You would have thought maybe they'll be either on that same level or a little bit better, but somehow they're even worse. They're practically looking like the Pistons last year so far to start this season. I mean, the Pistons had a no-win November, and they went on that crazy long losing streak. Who knows? Maybe the Wizards will beat their record. We'll see. Which would be kind of funny to see, not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially because Kuzma last year had that infamous tweet where he said you don't want to be that team in regards to like the team that loses to the Pistons, and now they're looking like the Pistons now. So it's very interesting how the tables have turned.
Yeah, that tweet was very hilarious because when he wrote at this point, it's just don't be that team. You can look at it as two ways. One, don't lose to them. Two, don't end up having a worse record than them. And the Wizards, I remember last year, they ended up losing to the Pistons twice, and one of them was shortly after that tweet. And though they did end up having a slightly better record than them, that's not saying much because it wasn't much better. So yeah, the tables have definitely turned. Not that it's that shocking, maybe shocking how bad exactly they are, even though we expected them to be really bad to begin with. Yeah, this is not a good team. And quite honestly, probably not that shocking that they're the worst team.
Yeah, I agree. Next thing, we'll briefly talk about this because we kind of did already when we talked about the Hawks, but the Cavs do get to be on the L list for I believe the first time this season, and that is because they lost 2 games now this past week, and both of them against the Hawks, which is a very weird way to lose. If they lost to like the Thunder or some other like good like competent team, then maybe we wouldn't be putting them here. But they lost 2 out of their 3 losses to the Hawks, so because of that, I think they deserve to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, to say the least, not a good week for the Cavs. And add insult to injury, their next game, I believe, they're playing the Celtics again tomorrow. It is at home, so maybe have a better chance. But yeah, that's a tough matchup to go for your next game on an already 2-game losing streak. And bad news is if they lose that game, fucking Celtics are back at 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So I hope the Cavs get it together and find a way to win that game. I think they have a chance, but they need to be serious. But nonetheless, this is a bad week for the Cavs, and I hope and wish the best for them to get back on track for many different reasons, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, definitely. It's, this is a team I'm rooting for, so hopefully they can pull it off. But yeah, it's definitely weird losing twice to the Hawks, so you gotta be in the L list. And last team, another team I don't want to be talking about right now in the L list, but I feel like I have to. The Lakers, they've had a really rough week. Starting with last week, something that happened last week about, to this I feel like this steamrolled into a horrible week for the Lakers. So starting with the loss at home against the Magic, where AD missed 2 free throws, and then Franz Wagner hit that game winner. That kind of spiraled into a bunch of losses from there. After that, the Nuggets once again destroyed the Lakers. The Nuggets, for some reason, they have our number. They have our number for some reason. I don't know why. We have one of the best defensive bigs in the league. Can't slow down Jokic. Can't do anything against him. Jamal Murray becomes like like a superstar every time he plays against the Lakers. It's weird. It's always weird how that happens. And then also, we lost both of the Cup games this week against the Suns and OKC. So we will not be going to the NBA Cup knockout round. So that means the Lakers are not going to repeat as NBA Cup champs. That sucks, especially seeing the Thunder game. LeBron did kind of look old there. I know I was talking about how he's been beating out Father Time, and on paper it didn't look too bad, but it's still not like prime LeBron numbers. It's not the best. So we have that, and
I was gonna say only scored 12 points that game, barely keeping his streak alive of 10 points or more. Yeah, definitely was a rough showing.
Yeah, so a lot of losses. We did win against the Spurs, but it's the Spurs. We have to win those. The Lakers, I feel like they've been doing what they're supposed to be doing, but not doing what I want them to do. They've been beating the bad teams, losing to the good teams, and I want them to win more, but they can't really beat a really good team right now. So, what are your thoughts on the Lakers, especially through this rough stretch?
Yeah, my thoughts on this team is that they're clearly just not a real contender at this moment. Hate to say it, but it's just the truth. The inconsistency has been very frustrating to watch. Now, obviously, the season has been such an up and down roller coaster. They start the year on a 3-game win streak, and then they immediately go on a 3-game losing streak. And then they go on a 2 or 3-game win streak, and then 2 more losses. And then they win 6 in a row, and then they lose 3 in a row. And then they beat the Spurs, and now they're lost again. So yeah, it's been a very crazy up and down roller coaster. I feel like this team has so much potential to be really good, but there's just too many holes on this team, unfortunately. On paper, team's not bad, but clearly there's lacking depth and all of that stuff. I feel like JJ Redick is still a good coach, and it's more to be expected to have learning curves and bumps in the road as a rookie head coach. But yeah, the team has been quite inconsistent. Obviously, the lack of depth at the center position is a huge problem. Behind AD, the depth is not good. I mean, because Christian Wood has been out the whole year. Um, Jackson Hayes has been out too, and I heard he's going to be out for like 2 weeks at least, I believe. So then the center backup is Christian Coloco, who was on a is on a 2-way contract. You do not want to let 2-way contract guys be the main backup because there's a reason they're on a 2-way. So yeah, it's been rough and very inconsistent. Hopefully they get it together and start playing more like the bright spots we have seen in the season so far. But yeah, it's been frustrating to say the least. And kind of like last season, where the team was also very up and down. But like at the end of the day, I do feel a lot confident still with JJ Redick over Darvin Ham. That's for damn sure. But yeah, Lakers have been very inconsistent, and it's been frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it's been weird. Like, it is better than last year, I believe, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I really don't know at this point. Like, it's better, but it feels like it's not better at the same time.
Yeah, point blank is a move needs to be done, but it's hard to be done because a lot of teams just don't want to help the Lakers. So
Yeah,
yeah, Lakers tax.
the Lakers tax. But okay, I guess that's it. That was a speedy episode from us. So honestly, there was a lot going on in this during this week. You know, with the holidays and stuff, it's hard to keep up with basketball, and you know, it's less drama. So I guess that's why it was a shorter episode, but a good episode nevertheless. Um, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube, following on audio podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating. Follow us there. Follow the socials, TikTok, Twitter. Anything you want to say before we head out?
Just per usual, thank you guys for the constant support to our channel. If you guys like it, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share. As the season goes by, obviously the season will only get more exciting as we get closer to the playoff time. Obviously, right now we're still far away, but we're reaching soon the knockout stages of the NBA Cup. So that is definitely going to be fun. And then definitely going to find ways to implement other activities. As obviously today we added in the 3 things we're thankful for. Definitely stay on the lookout for some of those stuff too, because we like adding in special twists when possible. So yeah, per usual, make sure you continue to keep following us and our content, and thank you guys per usual for the support.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we're definitely grateful. Something that we were thankful for this Thanksgiving is you guys who are following, who are watching the content. So we appreciate you all. But yeah, that's it from us. We'll see you all next week. Good. Bye.